Hey everybody, Stippling Vaughn, and another edition of Saturday Stippling. I am, as always, stippling from my local bar, and showing you more work on the book I'm working on. Last night, I had the very fortunate opportunity to be on Michael Bancroft's show, Late Night with Comicsgate. I was very nervous, and I was really worried because the one person that Michael had on, here it was like a call-in show. He could have, anybody from the chat could join in the show, and I was very fortunate to get in, but I was worried and nervous because the person who was on, about 2 people before me, he had a very bad delay, and because I was streaming with my phone, I was very worried about there being a lag, and I didn't want to get booted off. And as a result of being so nervous and worried that, I'm very worried about being booted off. Only thing you really can do is talk very fast. So unfortunately it's more me talking and almost like giving a presentation for the topic on hand than actually interacting with Michael and Joe. I apologize to them that I kind of dominated the conversation when I was on with them, but like I said, I was very nervous and didn't want to get booted. I wanted to have a chance to introduce myself and to have my opinion heard on his show. That's the reason why this video is going to be linked to Michael Bancroft, and I will be, when I tweet this out, I will be tagging him on it, so that way Michael understands why. But no, it was a very great opportunity to be on his show, and the reason why, and anybody who watches my videos on a regular basis, I do these videos every single Saturday and every single Sunday while I'm here, and I have a lot of fun doing it. So anybody who's watching this because of me tagging Michael in it, welcome. Every single weekend on Saturdays and Sundays, I do a stippling video. Michael even said how when he got started, how he got started was just simply posting videos. So, many YouTubers who have great big followings now, they did the same thing. This is how they got started. So I'm following their advice. So I'm just giving you a heads up why this video is tagged. Yes, I'm still nervous. I like to prefer to just let everybody hear the background noise, so we can know that I'm not faking it when I say that I'm working out of a bar. I do all my work on the weekends out of this bar. It helps me focus. I don't have control over the music. I don't have control over the TVs. And of course the conversation is always very colorful because it's a dive bar. but it's how I focus. If I'm at home, even if my girlfriend's in the next room watching TV, it's still just very, and even if I'm like watching a YouTube or listening to a YouTube video while I'm doing this, it is, it's hard for me to focus. It's just too quiet. And that's one of the reasons why I said that, like, I prefer draw streams. I really liked when Dan Fraga had his Fraga June, or his Fragtober, because you'd have a lot of people on, and you'd have that studio feel of just interacting with each other, cracking jokes, and I do miss that. Even though it was like one of those, like, I didn't really talk a whole lot in school, where my classmates would be talking during class. It helped me tune everything out and focus on what I was doing. But at the same time, if I wanted to, I could then interact with them. So, and please remember to like and subscribe. It always helps. But one thing, big thing with subscribing and watching these videos is you get sneak peeks on the book I'm working on. This is the page where we are introduced to Victoria. Victoria is one of Dracula's brides. She is his eyes and ears out in the field. She kind of guides the game wardens on their adventures, and she doesn't really interact too much with the other monsters, but she gives the game wardens advice on how to handle the monster that they're going out to take care of and handle. And when I say that, the story behind the book is Dracula has relocated to Pennsylvania, hence Pennsylvania, Transylvania, and he's brought all the monsters with him. Pennsylvania is not a state. We all think it's a state. It's actually not. It's actually a game preserve, which is one of the reasons why Pennsylvania is not a state. It's a commonwealth. So I use that. I was like, why is Pennsylvania a commonwealth and technically not a state? So I use that as the reasoning behind Pennsylvania. So, and the job of the Pennsylvania game wardens and our two main characters, that is Mac with the bottle, and that is Bob. Their job is not to protect the public. Their job is to protect the monsters. And if the monsters were to go on a little bit of a rampage and kill some of the residents of the state, their job is not to protect the residents. Their job is to do the cover-up as to, oh, no, that hiker wasn't killed by a werewolf. No. That was a mountain lion that got it. No. Even though there aren't any mountain lions in this area. No, this one, we've got reports of a mountain lion in this area, and that's what killed these people. Oh, no, that wasn't a werewolf. No, that was a rabid dog that mauled this person. Okay, they perform the cover-up. And that's the premise behind my book, SCAT Investigators. And by watching these videos, you get sneak peeks of the story and how it's progressing. I do have an ash can available for the first 8 pages, and it has 4 character sketches of Mac and Bob and how I came up with them. So for instance, when I first came up with Bob, and I did a character sketch of him, I determined right off the bat that I wanted Bob to be much younger. And how I originally drew him, he was older with a broad nasal septum. And I figured that's not, it gave him the wrong look. Because Bob is supposed to be very green. So if anybody watches a lot of reality TV, sometimes they have like Alaska game wardens and East Montana game warden shows like that. In a lot of those shows, they like to poke fun at and needle the new game wardens. And so I want Bob to be green. I want him to be inexperienced. So that way you kind of get, he's the character vessel for being introduced to these things. He's going to be interacting and dealing with these scenarios for the first time, like the reader is going to be introduced to these scenarios for the first time. So where Mac, this is old hat, he's been doing it for a really long time, he's got to kind of explain things to Bob, which is a standard storytelling trope. I think that's how the phrase is. You always want to have a new character who is learning the ropes, so that way you have your main characters. The main characters aren't idiots, but you have to have one character that's kind of dumb, so that things are being explained to them, which is a classic storytelling method. I think about how when they were doing behind-the-scene videos for Stargate, when it was on the Sci-Fi Channel, Amanda Tapping, she was talking about that, how you have to put your characters in against a severely opposing force, so there is a threat, and are they going to be able to handle this threat? But you also have to have your characters dumbed down, so that way they're explaining things to each other, but more importantly, they're explaining things to you, the audience. So Bob is my character who is being introduced to these things, and he's going to handle them incorrectly, so that way your other characters, such as Victoria here, that's Victoria, yeah, she looks a little annoyed, and Mac, they have to be explaining how things are to be done. So, plus also, you have to have a character who's, especially with what these guys do, you have the person who's going to be like naive and have ideals. So that way these characters are breaking down those ideals and be like, no, that's the way you thought it was. No, that's not actually how things are. That's not how we're going to be doing things. So, okay, everybody. This has been about a 15-minute video. I try to keep my videos short. And lots of times, you see how just what I've done so far has really popped. I can already see that I'm going to need to add a little bit of around here and do some blending here, so that way you can have this sharp peak. And that's one thing we're doing stippling is when we do traditional inking, you are going to have sharp contrast between light and dark. When you're doing stippling, you can see how we've got a much more gradation. And so, as a result, that's how we have to add more and almost treat each image almost like it's a black and white drawing. You can see how the pants look much better because of having so much tone, as if it was a black and white image. And I probably will go back and add more tone up here, add a little bit more tone over here, just to give more of a black and white tone feel to it, more so than it is already. So there we go. That is today's installment of Stippling Saturday. Tomorrow there will be a video, Sunday Stippling. Sunday Stippling lots of times is a no sound video, and the reason why it's no sound is the bartender works on Sunday. He always keeps the movie cranked up higher, and so as a result, because of there being so much music, so loud, the video cuts out a lot, because that's supposed to be on YouTube, and I don't want the headaches and hassles. So on Saturday when Vanessa's working, I can lots of times talk, because I can talk over, and because I'm talking so much, it may not pick up the music, or it's confused by the music that's playing, so I can get away with it. But this time, on Sundays, that won't be the case. So if you ever understand, if that way it gives you an idea, if you're starting to watch these, why Saturdays have videos, Sundays don't. So until then, remember, life is stressful. Just take it one dot at a time.